Hello and welcome to the News at 10 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the headlines. Nigeria is set to train 20 million Nigerians in digital skills in 5 years. Federal government affirms that no preceding administration has performed better than President Bola Tinubu in the first 2 years in office. First Lady Oluremi Tinubu extends alliance to end cervical cancer. And Saudi authorities are sure of smooth 2025 Hajj exercise. All right, let's start from the Center of Excellence, talking about Lagos State. For his years of humanitarian services in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu has conferred a national honor, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, on the co-chair of the Gates Foundation, Bill Gates. The president performed the ceremony at his Lagos residence, where Mr. Gates visited the president. The president appreciated co-founder of Microsoft for his contributions to the development of Nigeria over the last 2 decades.
It's the day to share happiness and respect, acknowledge one of the greatest human beings that the world has brought. All I need to say is thank you, Bill Gates, for your indivisible commitment to humanity. It is highly remarkable. It's an inspiration to leadership across the world, including the one standing before you. I thank you very much.
The Gates Foundation has been contributing aid to Nigeria in the health and agriculture sectors, as well as financial inclusion. Gates promised to double investments in humanitarian services across the world with attention to Nigeria.
So we have some amazing things that we've done together. Let me say I'm totally dedicated over the next 20 years to finishing the job, whether it's building up the data systems, getting the vaccines out to all the children, getting solutions for malnutrition that not only is responsible for a lot of deaths, but also cuts off the potential of the children who suffer from malnutrition. Some of our goals may seem very ambitious. For example, during the next 20 years, we do hope to completely eradicate malaria. And
the government of Nigeria recognize what what he has actually done. In the last couple of years, he has spent about $2 billion, and we jointly have committed quite a lot of money to spend fighting polio, malaria, and maternal health. He's done very well. I think he deserves what he got, which is CFR.
And the fact that as a philanthropist, he's a good example by committing to spend $200 billion over the next 20 years all over the world, helping improve humanity. That is really a food for thought for a lot of those who are well-to-do to consider what they can do to society.
And from Lagos, we go to the State House, where the federal government has renewed its partnership with UNICEF to train and empower 20 million young Nigerians with digital skills by 2030. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the hints during a meeting with UNICEF officials at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The Generation Unlimited Nigeria, an initiative aligns with the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda, which prioritizes inclusive development, digital innovation, and youth empowerment as tools for national transformation. Vice President Kashim Shettima has accepted to chair the board of Generation Unlimited Nigeria, a public-private youth partnership platform constituted to help young Nigerians between the ages of 10 and 24 transition from learning to earning through digital connectivity. He stressed that Nigeria is not seeking handouts, but sustainable, equitable partnerships.
This is why I'm very passionate about this digital initiative. Beyond leadership in our own enlightened self-interest, if we want to live in this patch of the world, we have to involve them. We have to empower them. So from learning to earning is a beautiful initiative. And honestly, more than any other platform, the digital space gives us the easiest window to get the youth engaged.
This go beyond UNICEF. It embraces the overall mandate of the United Nations and the support we have. And also it touched and resonates so well with the Renewed Hope agenda. And I thought that maybe I would lead the delegation and provide my support. And as we take it from here, we'll be along the team in this journey of supporting young people in Nigeria.
Youth engagement and youth empowerment. The core of everything is how do we make Nigerian young people fit for purpose for the job market? Because globally there is a mismatch between the curriculum that are being taught and what is actually required in the job market. So this is an opportunity to break that dichotomy.
Since its launch in 2022, Generation Unlimited Nigeria has impacted over 10 million young people with 1,500 jobs linkages already secured, and to reach a target of 20 million youth by 2030. The stakeholders must strengthen coordination among partners and align closely with national policy. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says no previous government has achieved what the Tinubu administration has achieved within 2 years. At the 2025 forum organized by the Voice of Nigeria, stakeholders were unanimous that national unity and citizens' trust are key to achieving national security. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
The forum, with the theme Renewed Hope Agenda, Citizens' Engagement and National Security, showcased the new vision and direction the Voice of Nigeria, under the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, is exploring non-kinetic approach in fighting the lingering insecurity.
Together, let's amplify Nigerians' truth, strength at home and across the board. And the Voice of Nigeria, like we are shown today, we are ready and we are good to go.
As community leaders, I am here just to pledge our commitments towards providing continuous support to what security agencies are already doing.
Those kind of brief and feedback from the DSS, from the police, from the security agencies has actually enlightened and also helped us to ensure that we reach the people as quick as possible.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation acknowledged the initiative as among critical policies as it drives to protect the nation's integrity through responsible media engagement.
We are not saying that the security situation in the country has been fully resolved. Certainly not. But there is a clear indication that there is progression in the management of our security system. And for the first time, more in a long time, we are seeing a heightened coordination between all members of the security forces to ensure that all of us can sleep in our houses. We know that there are challenges, but we must appreciate Nigerian Armed Forces, the security agencies for the work that they do.
Stakeholders were unanimous that peacekeeping in Nigeria is a task for all.
The journey to national security is not a sprint. It is a relay, indeed a collective relay of trust, vigilance, sacrifice, and leadership.
Border management is very critical. I've had countries, because of the level of insecurity they had to fence their borders. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up. Gentlemen, if we don't do anything, when the Sahel falls, it is Nigeria that everybody is interested in.
It's a challenge for all of us to find a way of telling our story in the right way, in the right perspective.
Citizens should be engaged to support the policies to counter the propaganda of the bandits.
Among its repositioning efforts, Voice of Nigeria has established more units and is expanding its international broadcasting role with additional 4 new languages. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
To health-related matters now, a new vista of hope is on the horizon for Nigerian women in their battle against cervical cancer. This follows the flag-off of a new campaign, Partnership to Eliminate Cervical Cancer in Nigeria, PECHIN, as a broad coalition against the scourge by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu. State House correspondent Adini Taiwo reports.
Cervical cancer posts grim figures and pictures among Nigerian women as the second most common cancer and a silent killer. Critical stakeholders in the Nigerian health sector and international and domestic partners who are gathered in this hall have one shared resolve, and that is to mount a firm resistance against the ravaging spread and impact of the scourge among women, working under a fresh campaign, Partnership to Eliminate Cervical Cancer in Nigeria, PECHIN.
This is indeed the beginning of a transformational journey
for Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, who was recently enlisted by the National Task Force on Cervical Cancer to lead the charge against the scourge. Their partnership marks a symbolic stand against the disease.
Nigeria has shown that it is possible to eliminate cervical cancer by 2030. Last year, Nigeria made a breakthrough by launching the human papilloma virus vaccine, HPV, nationally, protecting over almost 14 million girls in just 9 months.
Through RHI, the First Lady is leading by example by committing a sum of 1 billion naira to the campaign. She says funding, along with other forms of support, is critical to effectively drive the campaign.
I thank all our partners for standing with us, but we cannot stop there. We must build on this momentum and expand HPV screening, scale up treatment through innovative, cost-effective technologies, and establish these services where they matter most. I call on all our state governors, business leaders, and development partners to join in supporting this laudable initiative. Together, we must invest in a future where no woman dies from a disease that is preventable.
On behalf of the 36 states of the Federation, I formally endorse PECHIN initiative and affirm our commitment.
With the launch of PECHIN campaign, the mandate of the National Task Force on Cervical Cancer to accelerate Nigeria's progress towards achieving WHO Global Cervical Elimination Strategy by 2030 is now within reach.
Under the Renew Hope agenda, 6 cancer centers of excellence are being established, one per geopolitical zone, to provide comprehensive cancer prevention services, diagnosis, and treatment. 3 of these centers are now ready for commissioning.
In addition, the infrastructure that we are going to put in place for cervical cancer will be the same infrastructure that we are going to use to treat prostate cancer, breast, all other cancers.
WHO is proud to work alongside you and many partners, including the National Task Force on Cervical Cancer Elimination.
The inauguration of PECHIN campaign drew loud applause with endorsement from development partners, the Governors Forum, and the private sector. From the banquet hall of the presidential villa, Adini Itaiwu, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
I am pleased to announce encouraging news from the National Bureau of Statistics, which released the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for April 2025 only yesterday. According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%, This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025. Similarly, month-on-month inflation dropped by a notable 2.04% from 3.90% in March to 1.86% in April. This, of course, did not just happen by chance. The President is focused and is determined, and his determination and his interventions are clearly paying off. The benefits of reform, though gradual, are real and measurable.
This is NTA News 24.
Welcome back. Let's now go to Ondo State, where the Governorship Election Tribunal is set to deliver verdicts on 2 petitions before it. And at the High Court there in Ondo State is Paul Mukago to give us an update. Hello, Paul. What can you tell us about these petitions? All right, Paul, is there any other issues pending in the courts that we need to know about related to these particular cases? All right, Paul, many thanks for giving us that update. We'll come back to you once we get some developments. Thank you. Now, the Presidential Initiative to Unlocking Healthcare Value Chain, PVAC, and the National Malaria Elimination Program have convened a meeting with 3 private pharmaceutical companies to discuss federal government's evolving model for malaria elimination. National coordinator of PVAC, Dr. Abdu Mukhtar, says the collaborative effort aims to rapidly upscale malaria elimination efforts in Nigeria, as the initiative aligns with President Bola Tinubu's mandate to unlock the healthcare value chain of localizing production, ensuring affordability, accessibility, and long-term sustainability.
to engage with these companies to explain to them this new evolving model that NMAP and partners have come up with, which is very, is going to be very transformative in the fight against malaria and in our desire to eliminate malaria, and have that discussion and explain to them what we're trying to do and see how they can key in.
The meeting held in Abuja brought together stakeholders from allied agencies and companies in the health sector. In other news, as the 2025 Hajj operations reach their peak, Saudi authorities say adequate infrastructure in health and security have been put in place to provide essential services. This was during a media tour of facilities of the Ministry of Health and the Unified Security Operations Center in Makkah. Correspondent Tokme Alabi reports.
In few hours, pilgrims will be leaving for Muna ahead of the climax of 2025 Hajj exercise, which is standing at Mount Arafah. And the authority of Saudi Arabia is working out modalities on ensuring every pilgrim performs the exercise with ease and comfort. The Ministry of Health, apart from unveiling a robotic surgery unit, is also providing integrated healthcare services by monitoring footage from drones spread across the holy sites to respond to emerging health challenges. This is in line with the country's Vision 2030 for better quality and access to health services.
So having live information, helping decision maker to reach the proper answer, proper question, and proper service at the same time. We're using drones this year to deliver medications to certain areas in Hajj, and that has decreased the time from an hour and 20 minutes to 6 minutes this year. All Hajjis try their best to rest when they can rest, stay away from direct sunlight, use umbrellas, and drink a lot of water.
The Ministry of Interior also brought together leaders of Hajj security forces to brief the media at the Unified Security Operations Center, also known as 911 in Mecca, noting the synergy between security forces led to the eviction of 205,000 illegal pilgrims from Mecca and busting 415 fake Hajj offices.
As soon as we get a call, three informations show up on the system. The first one is the name of the caller, the number of the caller, and the location. After that, we send it throughout the system to the specialized entity in less than 45 seconds, and they will send it to the field to solve the problem.
While the security forces commanders have addressed security, traffic, and organizational plans, the conference is assuring pilgrims of a successful outing during this year's Hajj. From Mecca in Saudi Arabia, Tokpe Alabi, NTA News.
Now, experts at the African Continental Free Trade Area Digital Trade Forum have emphasized the need for urgent investments in digital infrastructure as catalysts for boosting digital trade in Africa. Details with Alika Hokmanachi Arwa on Business News.
The 2025 inaugural African Continental Free Trade Area After Digital Trade Forum, held in Lusaka, Zambia, brought together over 1,500 participants to discuss the future of digital trade in Africa. Experts at the forum highlighted the urgent need for investments in digital infrastructure, harmonized regulations, and capacity building initiatives to equip African youths, women, and small enterprises to compete in the digital age. The forum, convened under the theme Boosting Digital Trade to Accelerate After Implementation, also stressed the importance of digital inclusion for MSMEs, cross-border payments, data governance, artificial intelligence, and the monetization of digital platforms that will help to secure the economic growth of the continent.
AfCFTA is very important and very key at this time, considering the fact that you're talking about a billion market space with a billion population. across the African continent. We'll be able to export value-added goods from Nigeria. By so doing, we'll create employment for our people. 250 million Nigerians will be employed, and would actually be exporting goods from all sectors.
Here are the closing figures for Tuesday tradings on the floor of the exchange. With business news, Alika Opanachi Arua.
And with just a few days to the Eid al-Adha celebrations, traders in Abuja markets seem to be experiencing a boom in sales as customers, particularly women, flock the markets to purchase essential items for the celebrations. Alika Opanachi Arua again reports that prices of vegetables and some food items have dropped considerably ahead of the festivities.
The previous festive seasons, when food prices typically surge, the trend this year is different as prices of some items have dropped marginally. In a market survey around Abuja metropolis, it was observed that the prices of some food items like tomatoes, onions, cabbage and carrots have fallen by more than 50% compared to the same period last year.
Pack of beans, before we buy them 140, 150, now 100, 90, 95. Ultimo rice, we sell them 90,000 before, now it become 80.
The prices of commodity, like tomato is not too high, tatashe is not too high, but pepper is very expensive now because of the season.
Some buyers have also confirmed the price drop, saying beans, rice, gari, among others, have become more affordable.
From my experience today, especially, prices of things have really come down.
Well, let it go down more. That's what I advise, because things are too hard.
While others continued to decry the increasing cost of goods and services in the country, noting that despite the appreciation of the naira against the dollar and government's continued efforts to boost food production, the prices of goods and services have continued to increase.
Dustbin basket of a pepper is 10,000. Can you beat that? 10,000.
I heard people talking about things have gone down, but with what I've seen, I can't see. It's not significant.
Even if the market prices are going down, Nigerians can still inflate it. So Nigerians too are the problem. The government too should help us.
The only thing that government can do now is to do a price control.
A close look at fashion trends and patronage also revealed a significant improvement compared to 2024 Salah celebration. In Abuja, Alika Opanachi Arua, NTA News.
Let's take another quick break. More reports in a moment.
You will dive into exhilarating hands that will fuel your passion in education and propel your career to new heights. We don't just teach, we craft the next generation of media leaders. Explore our diverse offering, understanding the personnel matters and issues in the public service, basic development communication, financial reporting under IPSAS and interpretation of public sector accounting standard IPSAS, audit, internal check and control management, video camera maintenance, new technologies, optics, fiber, IP technologies, automation, storage management, and wireless technology. Challenges and opportunities in the secretarial profession in the digital age. Digital marketing, basic drama, online reporting, understanding the provisions of the revised public service, audio engineering operations and maintenance, camera operations, and intermediate drama. Mark your calendar. The second quarter of 2025 is your launch pad. This is your moment to seize the future. Announcer Management.
This is NTA News 24.
All right, so let's now go back to Saudi Arabia, where our correspondent Tokwe Alabi will give us updates on the 2025 Hajj exercise. Hello, Tokwe. What is the developments over there?
Many thanks, Dennis. It's been a wonderful experience here. Everyone is set. Arafah is tomorrow. And as early as possible this morning, after our Subh prayers, pilgrims are heading towards Muna, where they will have to rest and move to Arafah tomorrow. Arafah is a very important, the peak of the Hajj. Whoever is a pilgrim that is on Hajj and did not partake in Arafah, we believe not to have partake, will not be an Hajj, because that is the essence of Hajj. Like the Quran says, the Prophet says, and Hajj huwa al-Arafah, meaning Hajj is Arafah. Whoever performs Hajj must perform Arafah. It's been a very wonderful experience. The Saudi authorities have been able to put a lot of things in place, security-wise, health-wise, and every other thing to ensure that pilgrims here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia work it out for. A while ago, we were in Medina. We also visited some other places, the expansion, the Grand Mosque in Mecca, the third expansion, the Grand Mosque in Mecca, to reduce the influx of people and make sure that people can access the Haram with ease. And we saw a lot of Nigerians too who are also making their way to Muna as we speak. We are also preparing to, in a couple of hours, we will also be heading to Muna, where we are going to have where we're going to pass our night and then we head to Arafah as quickly as possible. The day of Arafah, the pilgrims will have to spend that day before they leave for Muzdalifah in the evening. Prayer Zoom, the afternoon prayers and the early evening prayers there before we leave, after the khutbah. And then it's just for pilgrims to pray on the Mount of Arafah, believing that prayers are answered. So a lot of us are also praying for our country. We are praying for Nigerian Television Authority. We are praying for our leaders. We are praying for everybody, because it's a period when prayers are answered. A while ago, we all completed our lesser Hajj Umrah, and we are now prepared for the Hajj proper. Dennis, I must say that Nigerians have comported themselves at this Hajj, and we've not really had any untoward news about Nigerian pilgrims. And teaching for
All right, Tokwe, thank you for giving us the updates you could give us with that. Your audio just vanished there, but we'll get back to you as things continue to develop. Thank you. Now, the era of consumers of goods and services losing money during transactions without refund will soon be a thing of the past. This is as the federal government, through the Office of the Vice President on Financial Inclusion, alongside stakeholders in the financial ecosystem, are working on a national framework aimed at building consumer trust for economic and financial inclusion. Benny Adams reports.
Failed transactions like this, cybercrime and the influx of Ponzi schemes are daily transactions that Nigerians go through with tears, leading to the continuous decline in trust for the financial system. This is the reason for this convergence of stakeholders, united by a common goal, which is to cement the National Consumer Trust Framework for economic and financial inclusion.
We should be able to place our order and be rest assured that it will be delivered. That is the key thing.
Part of it has to do with looking at cases to do with fraud, the quality of service that these banking institutions give to people.
The CBN has put in place a customer complaint management solution, which we are working to integrate with the industry dispute resolution system and hold financial institutions responsible for not resolving within the set timeline.
As we move on, if the situation demands legislation, then that will be action. Mr. President is pretty much ready, is available to do all that is needed to restore the confidence of Nigerians in this financial inclusion, in financial systems.
Aside building trust, stakeholders here are working towards having more Nigerians with access to digital financial services and at an affordable price. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Security matters now. In a major breakthrough in the fight against terrorism, tactical teams of the Department of State Services, DSS, backed by the Nigerian military, have killed no fewer than 45 bandits in a stealth operation around Kuchi town in Munyan local government area of Niger State. The raid, carried out with surgical precision, reportedly foiled a planned large-scale assault by notorious bandit leader Dogo Gide and his loyalists. In a statement, the DSS confirmed it tracked the movements of over 100 armed bandits advancing from Zamfara and Kaduna states to launch coordinated attacks on several communities in the area. Acting swiftly, operatives ambushed the attackers on the outskirts of Kuchi town, leading to a fierce gunfight that left many dead and others injured. The operation also led to the recovery of sophisticated weapons and motorcycles. However, 5 DSS operatives sustained serious injuries and are currently receiving treatment. The statement adds that the operation forms part of renewed covert offensives targeting Dogo Gide's strongholds, which in recent months remained under sustained pressure from security forces. This latest blow, following the decimation of over 50 fighters in an earlier raid, signals a significant loss of territory and morale among bandit groups operating in the region. The success brings relief to residents of Munya local government area who have long suffered under the siege of banditry. Community leaders expressed hope that the ongoing momentum in security operations, driven by improved intelligence and interagency collaboration, will be sustained to ensure lasting peace in the area. And in a major crackdown on drug smuggling, the Office of the National Security Advisor has confirmed the destruction of over 200 containers of illicit substances. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the NSA made the confirmation during a meeting with the tripartite committee established to curb the proliferation of illicit drugs.
Will never relent.
This meeting in the Office of the National Security Advisor provides an avenue for members of the task force set up to combat proliferation of illicit drugs to present their scorecard. Recently, 207 containers of illegal substances were destroyed. From unregistered pharmaceuticals to harmful narcotics, the operation is part of a broader national action plan.
There have been instances of these containers being pilfered and the medicines or illicit drugs getting into the market. We have destroyed 137 40-foot truckloads of unregistered products, banned products, expired products that will have killed so many women especially.
What this exercise showed us was the strength of partnership and the fact that we stay stronger when we work together.
The NDLEA echoed this success, commending the NSA's task force for its impact on curbing drug flow into communities. The National Security Advisor lauded the efforts and stressed the administration's commitment to crushing drug trade.
Working as one, a platform that all will come together and will defeat evil. We have done it, we have seen it. Taking 200 and something containers out of the market, is an amazing feat. And it's still counting. We are doing more, and we are not going to relent.
A certificate of destruction was handed to the NSA, while plaques and commendations were awarded to the heads of the 3 agencies. With thousands of arms and more drugs scheduled for destruction, the message from Nigeria's security apparatus is clear. The war on illicit trade is far from over, and it is being fought from all fronts. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, while guns may not fire themselves, their unchecked availability is turning communities into war zones, not only in times of war, but in everyday life. Thomas Ogbetere reports that the true victims are the millions of women and children, as well as vulnerable people whose lives are shattered by fear and instability.
The sound of the gunshot is loved when released from the barrel of the officer of the law on active duty, but dreaded when heard from that of the wrong person. These are man-made portable weapons, referred to as small arms and light weapons. They have fueled conflicts, armed robbery, organized crime, and communal violence. From displaced families in the northern Nigeria to communities torn apart by banditry in the Sahel, the effects are tragically visible in markets, homes, and schools. People live in fear of violence that can erupt at any moment, making experts warn that the uncontrolled spread of these weapons is not only a security threat, but a social and moral crisis.
There's a lot of insurgency going on, a lot of gun violence going on.
It's easier to find a gun now than to find a job. That's how bad it is.
The inflows of small arms in Nigeria is very high.
Some tragic reasons for this crisis have been linked to poor parenting, the glorification of wealth without a clear source, and the breakdown of community values. These are deep underlying issues concerned people's belief have escalated gun violence across the ECOWAS region.
You know, they talk about Gen Zs and how bad, how terrible they are. I don't agree with that. Who raised those Gen Zs? Who raised them? It is human beings that raise them.
Experts seek bold, united actions from government, civil society, religious leaders, and citizens to curb gun violence in West Africa. They believe restoring discipline, promoting honesty, and ensuring accountability can help break the deadly grip of arbitrary gun use.
WANSA appeals to President Tinubu, Nigerian National Assembly, to reject the call for state police, rather equip, train, and motivate the existing Nigerian police structure.
What we did in Sierra Leone after the rebel incursion, we had a program that was called DDR, Disarmament, Demobilization, and Reintegration.
Several voices have echoed the need for stronger arms laws, safer disposal of surplus weapons, and active involvement of women and youths in peace building. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
Now, to tackle the perennial challenge of building collapses and other engineering problems in Nigeria, the Nigerian Society of Engineers has commenced training of its members in the use of data analytics and digital transformation to provide solutions in the field. NSE President Margaret Oguntola at an event to mark the completion of specialized professional development training for young and senior engineers says the NSE is committed to building capacity of its members to compete globally. Ekene Ndulue reports.
In recent times, building collapse and other infrastructure failure remain recurrent in Nigeria. However, the integration of artificial intelligence and advanced technology offers a transformative solution. Through real-time structural monitoring systems powered by AI, engineers can predict and prevent failures before they occur. Sounds like a tall order, but seemingly, that and other engineering solutions is the target of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. To drive this innovation, NSE has completed training for the first set of 117 young and senior engineers on the use of data and digital transformations.
As far as the industry is concerned, once we have greater knowledge of the Internet of Things, of artificial intelligence, and all that, we'll be able to deal more with the perennial issues, whatever issues there are, whether it's building collapse or dam or any collapse of any kind of infrastructure for that matter, even in the power sector.
For these engineers, the training goes beyond mere certification.
This training has injected a lot of current knowledge on the digital space into Nigerian engineers who participated.
I look forward to developing systems that can streamline construction processes and also reduce the major problems we faced on construction sites.
NSE says it is also driving the innovations down to the school levels and has announced it is commencing the Nigerian National Engineering Olympiads for Nigerian universities. In Abuja, Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Civil society organizations, in collaboration with United Nations agencies, are promoting innovative and youth-led solutions aimed at fostering gender equality, disability inclusion, and improved access to reproductive health services in Nigeria, particularly for women and girls with physical disabilities. Olusheye Adiagbo reports.
Across the world, young women, particularly those with physical disabilities, continue to face gender-based discrimination, marginalization, and violence. They are often denied equal access to education, leadership roles, and opportunities for meaningful participation in society. In response to these challenges, the United Nations Population Fund, in collaboration with the Australian High Commission in Nigeria, with partners at the UN House in Abuja, is supporting initiatives under the theme Amplifying Inclusive Innovation, Youth-Led Solutions for Gender Equality, Disability Inclusion, as well as sexual and reproductive health access.
Young people living with disabilities, often they don't have a platform for their voices to be heard. So this platform is really to create that awareness that even within young people, they're not homogeneous, they're different, and every different voice matters. So this is just the beginning of a conversation, bringing partners together.
It's a matter of working with local communities and working with stakeholders and bringing forward kind of lessons that have been learned here to help reach goals, and instead of just talking here, to actually action concrete plans.
For speakers at the event, progress is unattainable when people with disabilities are excluded, or when youths are denied the ability to make informed decisions about their bodies and futures.
Let's reaffirm our collective resolve. Every voice is invaluable, every dream holds weight, and every youth deserves an opportunity.
There are so many beautiful policies, but we are not feeling it as a community of persons with disability. So it's very important that we begin to speak implementation.
Champions of the youth-led innovation for gender equality remain optimistic that with sustained efforts, the barriers preventing access to essential services and full societal participation will soon be dismantled. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, Dr. Tony Ojukwu, has called for collective action to ensure the safety and well-being of every child in Nigeria. This is while speaking on the Children's Safety and Well-being Day. The day is dedicated to acknowledging the pains suffered by children globally who are victims of physical, mental, and emotional abuse. He says the day in Nigeria holds significant importance due to the country's struggles with child abuse, exploitation, and violence. The NHRC boss urged the National Assembly to expedite action on the passage of the legislation on the National Policy on Safety, Security and Violence-Free Schools. He emphasized that the policy would provide a framework for ensuring that schools are safe and secure environments where children can learn and thrive without fear of violence or abuse. Dr. Ojukwu also called on governments to strengthen the implementation of the Child Rights Act and other relevant laws to ensure the safety and well-being of all children. This, he said, includes providing adequate support to IDP camps, ensuring access to quality education and healthcare, as well as addressing the root causes of poverty and insecurity that lead to child exploitation. The Risk Managers Society of Nigeria has extended sympathy to the government and people of Niger State and others affected in different parts of the country. Consequently, its president, Dr. Abbas Idris, has identified heavy rainfall, poor drainage systems, deforestation and land use, erosion, river overflows and climate change as major causes of flooding in the state. The society has therefore recommended early warning systems, reforestation programs, community education, land use planning, emergency response plans, and collaboration with NGOs. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo has launched the construction of 7.2 kilometers of township roads in Ida. He expressed gratitude to the people of Kogi East for their support and reaffirmed commitment to fulfilling his campaign promises. The governor praised former Governor Yahaya Bello for his foundational work in the state's developments and thanked President Bola Tinubu for his ongoing support. He emphasized that the construction project will improve infrastructure, enhance transportation, and stimulate economic activities in the area. Dr. Yunusa Al-Hassan, Managing Director of the Kogi State Road Maintenance Agency, assured the public that the work would be complete on time and to specifications. The roads to be used or to be constructed include Igala Ogba Angwa Inachalo Junction, Sabongari St. Boniface, Ega Market Junction St. Michael, Ukwaji St. Peter's Road, Ukwaja Junction Ata, and Ida Club Road. The Kogi State Executive Council has reaffirmed its commitment to grassroots developments and economic growth following a meeting at the Government House in Lokoja. Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo emphasized the importance of staying connected with the people to ensure responsive governance. He urged government officials to wear made-in-Kogi fabrics to support local industries and promote pride in indigenous products. In a statement by the Kogi State Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Femi Famwo, he highlighted the administration's goal of making governance more transparent. He noted that Governor Ododo is focused on listening and responding to grassroots needs on infrastructure. Famwo stated that perimeter fencing at the Confluence University of Science and Technology is 90% complete, with housing facilities for students also finished. Similar projects at the Kogi State University are progressing well. The council approved bills to restrict heavy truck movement during peak hours and to establish the Kogi State Agency for Climate Change. The statement further indicated that Commissioner for Finance, Mukadam Asiwaju Ashiru Idris, announced that the Ododo administration has cleared 98.8 billion naira in debts inherited from previous governments in just 15 months. Showcasing fiscal discipline, he said that the state's credit rating has been upgraded from B to B by Fitch Ratings, and the current debt stands at 40.5 billion naira, indicating a strong path to debt sustainability. Now, in a significant shift on the global diplomatic stage, Nigeria has officially joined the founding members of a newly created international body focused on peaceful conflict resolution. Patricia Isameluba reports on the occasion against the backdrop of the International Organization for Mediation signed on 30th of May 2025.
Of global power shifts and rising geopolitical friction, the signing of IOMED Convention marks more than just the creation of a new international body. It represents a turning point in the way nations chose to manage disputes. Formally launched in Hong Kong, IOMED is designed to offer a voluntary, confidential, and non-confrontational alternative to traditional legal systems such as the International Court of Justice. Initiated by China and endorsed by over 30 nations, IOMED is built on three fundamental pillars: facilitating cross-border mediation, especially between developing countries, building national and institutional capacity for peaceful conflict resolution, and lastly, promoting a global culture of dialogue rather than division. Nigeria's participation is not just symbolic, but it reflects the long-standing leadership in African peacekeeping and the growing role as a credible global mediator.
Mediation is one of the dispute settlement mechanisms established in the Charter of the United Nations. And the establishment of this organization is not only fulfillment of the Charter principles, but an implementation of those principles of the Charter. And I believe it will contribute to the peaceful settlement of disputes among states, and it is worthy of support.
With Nigeria's signing, the African continent gains a strategic foothold in shaping the rules of modern diplomacy.
And for us as a country that always promoted peace, promoted international cooperation, multilateralism, it's a good step for Nigeria in global diplomacy. So it's a good feeling for us that we are amongst those countries that are actually pushing for settlement of disputes through dialogue.
Ayomed has, however, drawn scrutiny in some quarters as critics in the West question China's influence and ask on how the enforcement will be managed, while others raise concerns about whether the new body will truly remain neutral. But proponents argue that the demand for accessible, culturally sensitive, and less adversarial mechanisms is growing, especially among nations of the global south. From Hong Kong, Patricia Esamiluba reporting.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.